Hey everybody, it's me, Angel Benton, and it is time for another edition of Angel Sudsy Recap. So today we're going to be talking about General Hospital. Last week's episode's ending on Cinco de Mayo, right? So well, before we get into General Hospital, this show is Angel Sudsy Recap, where we delve into the world of daytime television and we do a few reality shows on the side. But first, sometimes I like to do a little host chat where I chat you up on the things that have been going on in my life. As you all know, I went to White Party and then I had zero internet practically the entire week that I was in Indio, and then I went to back home to Glendale to run the Tinkerbell half marathon at Disneyland. And I did, and I finished. What? So now I'm good until the Disneyland marathon in September. So I've got plenty of time to train for that one. Okay, so, but I will tell you today, my quads are killing me. I mean, I'm walking like an old man. Like, they hurt. But actually, that's the only part of me that actually hurts. Oh, my nipples are a little sore. So here's the thing. So I ran the race, and I totally forgot to Band-Aid. I always Band-Aid my nipples before a race. Always. And this time, I just completely spaced it. Because I had to get up at 3 a.m., leave the house at like 3:50, to make it there by 4:30 because the race started at 5:30, and the line just to even get into your corral was ridiculous. And this race didn't even sell out. When I heard that, I was like, what? That shocked me. That totally shocked me. It's funny because the Florida races always sell out, but not so much the ones in Anaheim. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But like Wine and Dine, which is my favorite one, which I got into this year, knock knock, thank goodness. That sold out in like 40 minutes. So that is crazy. And they went on sale in March. And the race is in November. That's crazy. It's crazy. But it is one of the best ones to do. I love it. I just love being in Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival. It is the best. Okay, moving on. So, like I said, we delve into the world of daytime television. Today we're going to be talking General Hospital, and we're going to be talking about the week of Cinco de Mayo, right? Now, on Friday, Carolyn Hinsey was pissed because the network preempted the shows on the East Coast because of a press briefing from the White House. Now, see, I'm glad someone else said it too. It's ridiculous. If you're going to bust into the soaps, I'm okay with that if you have a legitimate news story. For example, a building on fire, a terrorist attack, a natural disaster. Those are the types of things. It's okay to bust into the soaps. I get it, right? But just because the Republicans killed Obamacare, or who knows what latest thing President Trump has gotten into, like that, just put that on the evening news. Don't bust into our soaps for that. That is ridiculous. At this point now, no one cares. Nobody cares. Okay? I'd rather watch Luke and Laura than watch President Trump. Sorry. I'm very vocal about no, I'm not very vocal. I take that back. I'm very internal when it comes to my political beliefs, but I'm very active when it comes to doing things that actually make a difference. Like, for example, if I go on Facebook and I'm doing this whole rant on Facebook about Donald Trump, blah, 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 who is that going to change their mind or do anything for? Facebook is only people you're friends with. So obviously most of them are going to have the same political views as you. However, there might be some that don't, and then you end your friendship. That is a whole other rant I could go into. If you're gonna not be friends with someone because of their political views, then don't be friends with them at all, period. Get rid of them from your life, whatever. But, I think that we can learn from each other, and we can learn from the mistakes that we've made, the mistakes that others have made, and to make things better, right? Maybe I'm just an eternal optimist that way, which is hilarious coming from me, but it's true, right? So, but honestly, it's never going to change. So I just let people have their say politically, and that's that. I would never not friend someone because of their political beliefs. Does it get boring and tedious when either side posts the same crap every single day? Yes, it does. It's boring. And it makes me wonder, like, all these people with, like, political pundits, like, on both sides, what do they really do? Like, really? They just give their opinions all day on crap that no one cares about? I mean, it's just, I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't know, you're thinking, well, you give your opinions on soaps. Yeah, but I'm not getting paid for it. Just saying. Okay, end rant. All right. Okay, General Hospital. So she was pissed because they didn't air Tracy's last episode. Well, it turns out they actually had aired Tracy's last episode, and it honestly, I think the best episode was when she was on trial for her life, when she had Scotty Baldwin as her lawyer and Diane as the lawyer for the defense, and a shirtless Ryan Pavey as Nathan, just as the bailiff. I loved that. And Sonny Corinthos, and the scene they played of her and Sonny when they were very young. I mean, it was genius. It was such a good episode. If that had been her episode, her final episode, I would have been totally okay with that because it was great. The episode that ended up being her final episode, it was good. I did tear up a couple times. But as you know, remember how I said I would be very upset if it ended up being that Luke came back to the show? Okay, so obviously, you know, he came back. But now I'm going to be pissed again because if you're going to break all that and have him come back, you're not going to have him say anything? Really? How do we know that's Luke? How do we know that's not Bill Eckert? How do we know that's not some other lookalike somewhere? We don't know shit. You know, so for this Tracy runs off into the sunset with Luke bullshit thing that we're supposed to buy. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But but don't get me wrong. I love me some Tracy Quartermaine, and I'm going to miss Jane Elliott a lot because she is fierce, and she has been ever since. When did she come on the show? The 70s or the 80s? She's been on the show for a long time, and she's been great every step of the way. I just love her to death. So I'm going to miss her. I mean, when Ned and Dylan were talking about their mom and how much they love their mom, I mean, that kind of got me. That was really, you know, and my mom is nothing like Tracy Quartermaine. But it's that familial bond, especially between a mother and a son, that really speaks to me quite a bit. So I just loved that. It was so awesome. So farewell, Jane Elliott. You did a great job. Great job. But maybe we can get you to come back to Days of Our Lives as Angelica Devereaux. Or did they kill her off? I have to look into that. I'll have to look into see if Angelica Devereaux got killed off. Because I know Ron Carlivati, who is the head writer, he would have you in a fucking heartbeat. Don't even play. He would totally have you. Angelica Devereaux is she related to Jack Devereaux? And I need to look it up. When I do Days, I'll tell you what I find out. But I know for a fact that he would have her in a minute. And if it's announced sometime soon that she's going to Days, I saw that one coming. But if she doesn't, put that in your mind, Ron Carlivati. All right? Anyways. Moving on. All right. So, in other news, another storyline that they had was Amy Driscoll. First of all, I love Amy Driscoll. I really do. I know people can't stand her, but I love her. I think she's fantastic. And she calls it like she sees it, you know? And she kind of called Maxie out for being a bitch in high school to her. And so that's kind of fierce. That's kind of fierce. I enjoyed that. So good for you. To her husband, right? Good for her. You go, girl. I loved it. Okay, and then the other storyline was Hayden and Finn at the very end. Finally, we're starting to see some payoff with Hayden and Finn because it's one of those things where soaps ebb and flow, and with the ebbs, you know, they kind of are stalled, and then the flows, they just go. So like, some storylines are going to be moving at a quicker pace than others. So now we finally starting to see some payoff with Dr. Finn. And I hope that we see Brad get his comeuppance, because no offense, first of all, I don't get the whole Lucas and Brad relationship. I don't get the whole Lucas and Felix relationship. I don't get why Lucas is with either of them. I really don't. I mean, the man's a fucking doctor. He could be with anybody, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And he's hot. So to be with someone two-faced, I mean, okay, whatever. Anyway, that's my opinion. All right. Anyways, and the other thing that we'll talk more about next week, I'm sure, will be when Ava found out. First of all, oh my God, I have to say, I love Maura West. I love her as an actress. I think she's fantastic. And she had this one line that she was just fucking, I had laughed out loud. It was so funny. She was talking about how, oh, so there is some funny lines on General Hospital, and I don't know how much of them are written or how much of them are ad-libbed, but the first funny line came from Hayden saying to Dr. Obrecht, who, I love me some Obrecht. She's like, yeah, well, you're just a regular Justin Trudeau, aren't you? And she said, and Obrecht said, don't compare me to that maple-infused, what was it? It was just some diss on Canadians that was so hilarious. I loved it. I was dying laughing. It's funny because I can't remember it now, but it was really funny. And then the other funny line was Ava was talking to Sunny about Carly, and she's like, and Carly is, how can I put this, a bitch. And I lost it. It was great. So good job to all three of you actresses. It was wonderful. Anyways, thank you so much for logging on today. I do appreciate it. Please feel free to follow my Twitter and Instagram at Angel Benton. And you can hashtag GH to talk General Hospital. You can also hashtag Amazing Race. I'm going to be talking about the Amazing Race that aired on July 5th on Cinco de Mayo. Excuse me. Next, and have a wonderful time. Thank you so. Have a beautiful time. Wubba, wubba, wubba.